It's Intelligent Concrete. I'm here to talk to you today about bringing new and emerging technologies out to the concrete industry. And this is something that we get to, I spill coffee all over the floor. This is something that we get to do every day. Fortunately, we work in a certain part of the industry where we're either developing new technologies, reviewing new technologies, validating new technologies, or consulting on new technologies. And what we've been able to do is have wonderful conversations with some of the best people in the industry about bringing new and emerging technologies out to the concrete industry. This morning I had a conversation with one of my buddies, owns a few ready-mix operations, ready-mix concrete manufacturing, and was having a bit of a tough time getting through the motions of bringing a new technology in that had a lot of performance valued features and benefits. And what was stopping him was the fear. The fear of trying new things. There was a wonderful book written years ago, I can't remember the author, but it's called Getting to Yes, and fantastic book. I've read it a few times, and I think I understand about 20% of it. But it's about the obstacles to getting to yes and why people say no to either new things, new services, contracts, despite the fact that it's going to help them out. And our friend, when he's saying no to a new technology for the concrete industry, despite where it fits in the critical path for him, specifically it's on the manufacturing of concrete, he ends up saving a lot of money by saying no. And if you think about it, by saying no, he doesn't have to pay for new admixture tanks, plumbing in the new admixture to his existing system, calibrating that new admixture feed line into his new system, sequencing this new admixture, learning or getting his guys or gals who batch the concrete and transport the concrete to learn how to do their jobs with this new additive and admixture. And then, of course, what happens when something fails? Who's going to pay for it? And these are all very expensive questions. And, the investment to all of that can be anywhere from $5,000 to $20,000, depending how big of a system it is and how difficult of a learning curve the new additive and admixture is. And the fear is that getting to yes costs a lot of time and a lot of money, and you can't blame them for saying no. The fear of, are we actually going to get a return on investment, and the investment that is right in front of them, the fear of the unknown that is right in front of you, is sometimes greater than what you can possibly get on the latter end of it. And I remember talking this morning about it, and it was it was what if, and I could hear the fear in his voice, and I held the talking, or I gave him the talking stick, so I didn't say anything. But eventually, when he gave me that moment to speak, I asked him, like, what if it works out? If by using this additive, granted, he might have to make a $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 investment to use it properly, but if he saves $1.50 per cubic yards and sells 100,000 cubic yards, assuming it's his workhorse mix where he's using this technology at a minimum, sells 100,000 cubic yards of this a year, and he saves $1.50 per mix using this technology, and only costs maybe 50 cents per cubic yard, or 20 or 30 cents, or maybe $1, and he's making 50 cents per cubic yard now, or he's making $1 per cubic yard. That's $50,000 to $100,000 a year. And how do you argue with that? Now, we're talking about a minimum, and if the technology that is really being offered is worth its weight, then it's going to do more than $1.50 per yard, and the margins on it should be, the value-added performance should be great enough that the fear, which you're always going to have, no shit, it's fear. It's fear of using something new. Eventually, you're the one who's going to have to own up to it or deal with the lawsuits that ensue if something goes wrong with the new technology. But imagine for a second if it freaking works. I get it. I could see the fear, and I get the fear, and I've seen the lawsuits. But imagine if you do it right. Imagine if you could teach your people. And imagine the money you can make and save and the awesome products that you can give your people. So anyway, the purpose of today was to identify what it's like to get a new and emerging technology out to the industry. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. If you're going to be in Hong Kong next year, December 2018, we're giving a spiel on emerging technologies and technical transfer to the concrete industry from the lab and what that's like. So basically what we talked about today, but in a lot more depth and a lot more detail with the different ASTMs and practices and procedures that you can go through to make that critical path to bring in new and emerging technology to the field, rapid deployment style. So have any questions, shoot us a direct message. Otherwise, leave us something on one of our posts. Go concrete, beat asphalt.